And ROCCAT, who's going to be moving through to play Fnatic in tomorrow's final. Well, we'll find out in the next hour. Maybe a little bit shorter, maybe a little bit longer, who knows about that one. But the band's coming in. Rise again, Jax again, Renekton and Leona. Identical picks so far to the last game.
Yes, so SK actually decided to ban away the Jax. They clearly don't want to first pick it, and they know if they first pick something else and Jax is open, instant lock for ROCCAT, so they actually banned away. Again, Trundle was the ban in game 1. Never mind his ban. Rise been banned all 3 games by SK now, so they clearly do not want to face either Overpower or Seroes on Rise.
Evelynn might be a thought here for SK, but for ROCCAT, but does that then leave someone else open? Well, for me, the Karma, I don't know. I'm not sure if that's that big of an impact.
They've been banning it all games now. Car 6 is open for Svenskeren if he wants to play it. Evelynn is open instead, actually. Trundle once again for Freddy here. There was no counter, there was no answer from ROCCAT in the last game because of the lane swap, so Seroes never got to bully Trundle early on his Lulu. But let's see if he actually decides to pick Lulu again and then this time around try and get the 1v1.
I wonder also if they're going to be thinking about Nidalee early on in these picks. For ROCCAT, for me, they don't really need to. Again, they can wait for SK to pick up that Nidalee and then lock in an Akali again, for example, like Overpower did in game 1.
Both teams have shown they have picks against Nidalee and also they know how to play against, so especially in the early mid-game part where they put a lot of pressure on the map, and that's when Nidalee is not able to do anything. She needs to get going, she needs to get the death cap and really start poking away before she shines. So both teams actually now, despite being first picked in both game 1 and game 2, decided to just leave Nidalee. For now, at least.
For now. Lulu was taken, though. Whether that's for Xayah, for Overpower, for Vander, we'll find out later. But a pick that leaves SK Gaming guessing, that's for sure. They've also taken the Evelynn here away from Svenskeren. Now, where does that leave Svenskeren here? You'd automatically be thinking right now, if you're looking at the jungle tier list, that Kha'Zix.
Of course, he's the next one, or actually the top dog normally of the junglers here, so he would be open for him. But again, with Flare, we need to remember Xing Zhao, Nocturne, even Master Yi is actually a viable pick at the moment, so there are a lot of options for Svenskeren here. So obviously he played Evelynn both games. I'm going to see what he actually decides to go with now, and if SK want to build some comp around his jungle pick.
I don't know about Master Yi in a final game of a
probably
best
not,
of 3.
Probably not. I'm just saying he's viable.
We've seen Master Yi, there's no doubt about that one. And whether SK would really be that ballsy, I'm not quite so sure. Xin Zhao, though, we've seen people doing very, very well on him, as you said, with the new items coming in. Also, we'll see Lucian picked up here for Candy Panda. Last match on Twitch, and when he's brought out Twitch this year, he's actually done very, very well on that Twitch, but this time's going for Lucian.
So, due to the fact that Evelynn has been picked up by ROCCAT, they don't actually want Twitch on the side of SK because they can't do the same combo between him and Evelynn, where they try and worm around and gank people. We saw them ganking Silver. Actually ended up being a 1-for-1, but still, we saw the idea behind the 2 picks for him. So with Evelynn now being gone, and Lucian still being left open as one of the most safe and best AD carries we have at the moment, it's just a lock-in, or an easy enough lock-in for SK Gaming. And the Xing Zhao pick, I really like it because with Flare now, and also due to the fact your early game is so strong. If you find Evelynn in a gank, like if you turn a gank around with Evelynn being there, you do so much more damage than she does.
And Lucian also a bit of a good luck charm for SK Gaming. Out of all the games they've played with him, only lost 1 actually, which was the very first game of the season against Millennium. Interesting stuff there. On the other side here, we're going to be seeing Jinx once again for Celiver, and we're going to be seeing Janna.
So, Shield comp. Fnatic ran it earlier with Lulu, Janna, and I believe it was it Kayle as the last pick?
Yes.
So, obviously Kayle is still open, it's an option for Overpower to log in. Already now, Jinx, double shields, ultimate from Lulu, ultimate from Janna to knock people away. It's going to be very easy for ROCCAT, or it's going to be the whole idea for ROCCAT to try and protect Celiver in these fights, and of course also a shield onto Evelynn. So it's going to be very hard for SK to actually kill these targets unless they get some good CC to lock them down so they don't start kiting around.
Going to be seeing a possible Nidalee pick. N-rated, he's going to be locking in Sona here. So Sona and Nidalee, those picks that we kind of expected, or certainly the Nidalee pick. And although Sona worked out perfectly pretty much for N-rated in that last game as well.
And Sona's great because long drawn out fights, you can heal, you got good sustain, and when the engage actually comes down, You got the hard CC from Zona here, land the ultimate onto multiple members from ROCCAT, and then you can pile all your damage onto him. You can land a spear from Jessis, and then, of course, with both Trundle and Svensken jumping into the face of ROCCAT, they can get in there. So from SK's side, as long as they land the ultimate from Enrated, which is going to be really key, as it is the main CC, it's actually the only stun they got at the moment, or they're going to have. So they need to land this ultimate from Zona in the fights, otherwise ROCCAT is just going to start kiting them around.
Irelia being hovered over here for Xaxus. Of course, Irelia started to make a bit of a comeback. We saw Darien player not quite as well as some other people have yesterday, and it is going to be Xaxus that will lock that one in. So Irelia for Xaxus this time around for Lulu to go in the mid lane.
So I like this pick here because frontline wise you have Evelynn, you have Irelia jumping into the face of the people. Backline you have Jenna and you have the Lulu to protect the Jinx. So very strong teamfight comp from ROCCAT, and also laning wise, well, Jenna versus Zona is heavily in favor of Zona, so in their case they would look for lane swap here to get out of this very weak early game from Jenna. But still, with Irelia up in the top lane, the good thing is she's gonna build 24s, maybe even gonna put on something like a Blade Rune King, but at least go a bit more damage, so there's less tank stats for Freddy to steal away, which is a good thing. And at the same time, you're gonna be so tanky with all the shields from ROCCAT's all the champion tiers. So Irelia, if you get a good start, you can really be such a beast in the team fights, and you can play very aggressive because of all the shields from Janna and Lulu.
A lot of heals as well on the side of SK Gaming. Nidalee, Sona, 2 summoner heals in there as well. In fact, it looks like ROCCAT are also running 2 summoner heals in the mid lane with Lulu, and of course in the AD carry role as well. So gonna be some long fights, these.
Yeah, very, very long fights here. And both teams are happily enough going in, trying to get the fight going, then back out a little bit. Obviously, the sustain goes in favor of SK due to the Nidalee, due to the Sonar. The shielding, well, obviously goes in favor of ROCCAT, but it means actually if ROCCAT takes some poke without the shields being on the targets, they won't be able to heal it up, where SK Gaming can do it. So they really need to be on point when the spear comes in. If it's going to land on someone, they need to shield this target. Otherwise, the poke from SK and the sustain is going to be much stronger than just the shields.
Very interested to see how this one all works out. Of course, the winner will go through into tomorrow's final. The loser will play Alliance for 3rd place. We're in game now. It's match number 3 between SK and ROCCAT. Will we see here anything at level 1?
Well, first thing is there's a coin on to Vander, so he really wants to lane swap because he's going to be so weak in a 2v2 here. So look for ROCCAT, maybe just to try and late invade themselves, spot out SK, and from there on actually decide which lane they want to go to, because they really want to make sure they don't get into 2v2.
Jankos just waiting off to the side here. Svensson taking his usual death brush position. Xaxus is also waiting on the top side, so up until now, things set up for a fairly timid start, but of course we've been seeing these invades coming fairly late on. In fact, both games have seen later invades. SK invaded the blue buff of ROCCAT last game, and of course we'll remember game 1 where ROCCAT 3-man invaded the red buff, got the hook and the kill. First blood onto Jankos. So let's see if that happens this time around. Very passive first 1 minute and 10 seconds, not really spotting each other whatsoever. And no real moves being made.
Well, ROCCAT's dual lane is now moving towards the top side, but so is SK. And they're gonna move in with Freddy, of course, with teleport. You can always just teleport down to the bottom lane. So both teams actually on the same side of the map at the moment, and it looks like SK want to go in towards the red buff, and then ROCCAT want to move in towards the blue buff.
Jankos could be the deciding factor here, though. When SK think that that is clear, and they're all going to reveal themselves to Jankos. They already know whether they're there. They're already pinging on top of them. There is Jankos spotting the entire team. SK are going to move in. Are ROCCAT going to try and fight this one? They've got 3 men on the top side. They're going to come in. They're going to fight this one. They're going to go for it. There's the slow coming down. Svensson going to get knocked up. That's a great Howling Gale. Svensson's going to go down. First blood comes in. Jankos flashes away. Freddy's low. They follow him over. Jankos is going to go down by the spear. Freddy dies as well. Now they're trying to track down Vander, who's also low. In the end, it ends in a 2-for-1 for ROCCAT. Crazy start.
And what a fight. ROCCAT actually went in with all 5 members before Jessis could join in. He was stuck in the mid lane, so Overpower joined in here. 5 members from ROCCAT managed to pick up 2 kills. Yes, okay, they lost 1, but still very much worth it. And they got the lane swap.
lane swap in there as they want. Zazas down in this 1v2. We'll see how he actually does on that front. Candy Panda and Enrate are just going to try and keep him away from things.
And first blood, or 2 kills already, going over, 1 for Overpower and 1 for Jinx. Going to be the 2 big damage dealers, of course, with the Irelia pick later on. So very, very good start for ROCCAT. And very good for them to get him on these key members here. So Overpower, he's going to be very strong early. Look for him to really pressure Jesses.
Slightly hitting level 2 before him there. Jankos can have a peek down to the SK blue buff, which, or is he? Is he just going to go in here? Standard 3-man dive at this point as Vander is going to be the one tanking up the turret. That's a lot of damage from the tower. He's still tanking it! That was awfully done there. I don't think he realized. Jankos, is he going to fall here? The minions, not quite enough damage. That was almost disastrous for ROCCAT.
Not only did he tank the turret for too long, he also decided to auto-attack onto Freddy before Jankos was even close. Like, Jankos was running around the edge here, around the bush, when the first auto-attack landed, so Vander took a lot of extra damage, and he didn't have to die for this one. He could definitely have backed out in time. Anyhow, bottom lane being pushed heavily now by SK. They will pick it up very easily. Only Seroes pushing up in the top lane.
And you have to question ROCCAT once again here. We saw in that last game that when SK went for that faster push on the outer turrets, they didn't really react to it. They decided to freeze that bottom lane and not take it down. SK once again are putting in a ton of damage, and actually there's a risk here that they're going to lose that blue buff. Jankos is pretty much going to face check, but Svenskeren already falling low. Here comes Overpower from the side. This is bad news for SK. Here comes Candy Panda though. They turn around, they're going to go for Zazas, and they get the kill. Candy Panda gets that one. Svenskeren is going to go down. Jankos falls as well though, and they flash in onto Overpower. There is the shield. Enrate going in as well. Not quite enough damage. And he ends in a killer piece. We're tied at 4-4 now on kills.
But the early game power here from Svenskeren on Xing Zhao, so strong here in these fights. I mean, he was actually the guy who had to flash away first because he face-checked 2 members, and still he could come back into the fight, do a lot of damage, together with, of course, Enrated and Candy Panda, picking up kills and double buff over to Candy Panda.
That leaves both AD carries at 2-0-1. They'll be happy with that start. Candy Panda, of course, in that last game got a ton of assists in the early stages of things, which may have slowed him down a little bit, but this will be a happy start for him. Actually, Seroes and Vander have got this top tower fairly low, but I think SK will draw the first blood when it comes to towers. Yet they certainly will. That one is going down. However, ROCCAT doing a very similar thing up there on that top side. Freddy can't do much about that. And actually, they're going to chase after him here. They get him with the chompers. Have they got enough damage? Here comes Jankos from the side. Freddy's going back for his tower, but he's not even going to be close to taking the enough damage. And that will be the kill for Seroes, and the tower going down as well. Leaves him 3-for-1. But SK have taken the outer turret. They're going for the inner.
Yeah, both junglers actually went to their dual lanes here to help them push down. A lot of damage onto this turret here from SK side. Only Zazas here to defend. All 3 members from ROCCAT are staying in the top lane to push down the next turret.
Playing that game. You can actually see that Zazas here, like what he's doing, sat just over the tree line there, so he gets that XP as well, whilst he does lose his tower. Oh, Freddy actually coming back in to try and stop this tower going down. Honestly, not really got that much damage at this point, and can't really stop them taking it out. The minion waves are going to go in, but they're going to catch Freddy once again. He stands on top of the chompers. He's going to run towards the turret, but again he goes down, and again it's Seroes that gets the kill. He's on a rampage now.
But second time in a row, Freddy is staying at the turret, trying to get some XP. Like, there's no way for him to clear the wave. There's no way for him to push ROCCAT away from the turret, so he just stays. And now they're in it because the 3 members continue to push.
This is all a little bit awkward, I feel, for ROCCAT. SK are going to take down that inhibitor turret. Are they going to stick around for the inhib itself? Maybe or maybe not, but Jesus and Overpower here fighting in that mid lane. It's good damage. There is a polymorph coming out. Jesus has to back off.
Jesus actually got level 6 before Overpower, so he could go aggressive towards him. The heal was used by both sides. No ignite, of course, so they couldn't get into extra burst here. But SK Gaming, with 3 turrets gone in one lane, moving towards the dragon, they will pick this one up for free. The only positive thing for ROCCAT with this is the fact they picked up so many kills to Seroes because Freddy decided to stay, and I don't know what he was doing, but he decided to stay at the turret and just give them the kills.
Jankos actually chasing Jesus there, but didn't want to go any further, didn't know where the rest of the team was. As you said, first dragon goes to SK Gaming. 600 gold lead that they have here. 3-2 up in turrets and a wide open inhibitor. Killing off that inhibitor now would cause a few problems for ROCCAT.
Well, ROCCAT would have had time to kill the turret here, recall, and stop them actually for taking the inhibitor.
Yeah.
And for now at least, it shouldn't matter too much. There's an open inhibitor because nobody from SK is strong enough to push all the way up there, actually get it down. ROCCAT won't let it happen. So for now, it shouldn't do too much about it, but at least later on in the game, if Freddy becomes very strong, yeah, exactly. If Freddy becomes very strong and starts split pushing, we saw the exact same thing yesterday. Game 1, Alliance versus Copenhagen Wolves. Copenhagen Wolves pushed all the way down to the inhibitor, didn't do anything with it for like 20-25 minutes, but then Jax became very strong, he started pushing, actually got the inhibitor.
SK.
Freddy can try and do the same.
Yeah, they're gonna bring up a 3-man team, and Celiver sticking to the turret. Svenskund score! Oh, disaster strikes again here for SK. Freddy flashes away from that one. They got the slow onto Candy Panda, but them chompers from Celiver have been an absolute nightmare. Knockup coming in, and Raider gonna go low, but Jesus is there. Will they keep fighting? Jesus is left, and Raider, there's Wild Growth coming in, and Raider falling very low, exhausted onto Jesus. And Raider can't get away, and now Jesus is gonna try and run the rings around them. Will be able to escape from that one. ROCCAT decide not to chase.
This is one of the weirdest games I've ever seen. I mean, mistakes on mistakes. Svenskund, he dives onto Celiver there, just get trapped, and then he dies under the turret. There's nothing else. Celiver just flashes away from him, puts down the traps. That's it. You're dead under the turret. You're level 5. And then later on, Enrated now here being caught out actually together with Jesse. Yes, Jesse survived, but Enrated gave up another kill. So both teams giving up turrets, giving up kills left and right. And if they continue this pace, we could be in for a very fast game.
We've had more kills than we've had minutes, which is nice to see, but sadly most of them have been
very weird deaths.
Weird and a little bit sloppy, I think, is the right way to really phrase that. We've got a 2-man team pushing down top here. We've also got Jesus trying to push that middle outer turret here as well. I don't think that Freddy's going to get caught out again, although I've said that I think now 3 times, because he does have 4 deaths. But ROCCAT have pushed that all the way up. Freddy will just want some free farm from this. Only 26 CS, almost 10 minutes into this game, and can't really say that it's going any better for Zazas, who's sat on 30.
This is the time though where ROCCAT can just go 4 members mid, because Nidalee's wave clear. She won't be able to get in and clear the wave, so they can put a lot of pressure onto this turret, especially when the members from SK was in the bottom lane with both Enrated and Candy Panda, and of course Freddy was in the top lane. The big wave was coming down. They could just rotate earlier in here instead of going with the wave all the way down to the turret just to back off in top.
Celiver just dodged into that spear, and then Raid's gonna get caught out. Got a flash, but he's not gonna be able to escape Jankos. Super Mega Death Rocket came in. The story of actually game number 1 when Celiver was throwing them just a little bit too late to try and secure those kills for his team is exactly what he's trying to do. Actually catches himself another spear, and we'll see if SK can actually hold on to this tower. Celiver just getting the aggro from it. Svenskund always in danger as well, may just decide to dive in onto them. In the end, Minion's going to be taken down a little bit too quickly for ROCCAT to get any big damage onto it.
But at least they did swap to the mid lane here. Got actually some pretty good damage onto the turret early on. Of course, the pick on to Enrated helped them a lot. He wasn't there. It was only 2 members trying to defend. And Zazas, teleport is not ready yet, but should be up very soon. He would go there. Whoa, Svenskund aggressive.
Going in on towards Celiver. There is a good Howling Gale, and the Monsoon will knock them back. But SK might want to try and chase this one. They've done a lot of damage, but in the end, apparently they don't want to chase that one too hard at least. They kind of half went in, half went back. Maybe though, they will be able to get something on the tower. Freddy, meanwhile, is pushing top lane, and he's going to have all the time in the world there.
But we did see again the comp here from ROCCAT, what it can do. If people jump onto Celiver with the shield, with the Monsoon, they can knock them away, can put down the traps, and be safe for some time and do some damage. But SK pushing onto this turret here, will they get it? Yep, they did.
They will take that one, and now Jankos chasing Freddy. In comes Celiver. They're going to get the slow onto him, but Freddy, who's now got a giant spell in there, feeling a little bit safer, feeling nice and healthy now with that extra health on board.
So, seeing as Candy Panda could rotate after he pushed out the bot lane, he went to base, and then he went straight for mid lane. So with the fight already being over, with ROCCAT running towards the top lane because Freddy was pushing, they could actually go in and get this turret fairly easily. Even Jankos moved away, so there was no wave clear left around his mid lane, or at least not enough wave clear to actually stop SK from picking up a fairly easy turret.
Where are ROCCAT gonna go here? We've just seen him clearing out a little bit of those wards around Baron. You know, this game is that weird. We could see a 12.5-minute Baron.
12.5-minute Baron.
Yeah.
Spawns at 15 minutes.
Exactly. That's what I mean. This
Oh.
game is that weird.
Oh, okay, I got it.
It's alright. It's alright, Deficio, I got you. I realized that was a little bit of an obscure one, so I'll let you off on that front. Either way, they are clearing out wards on that side of the map there. Jankos just waiting off the side here. No one really there for them to be picking off, though. They'd already backed off and recalled out of that one. Dragon, though, is coming up in 20 seconds, so we'll see who moves into position for that one. Actually, Zazas is already there. Gonna see that pink ward, and that'll deny a little bit of vision on that side of the map from SK.
I see Zazas here early on, before he builds any items, already upgrading his boots, really going heavy into move speed, and it's such a good stat on Aurelia because you are already fast just by your base stats, and then of course providing you more movement speed, you can just rotate around the lanes very fast, and also in team fights you can always stick to targets, especially in Italy, who's going to jump away from you or try to jump away.
So this could be a freebie for SK. Literally no one there from ROCCAT. After Zazas went down there and got himself a ward in position, there's nothing or no one that can stop that one from happening. That will be the second one of the game going over. They need to be careful here. Actually, Jankos going to get a good ultimate off. Freddy's off to the side here, and they dive through the wall on towards Jankos, but there's a good crescendo. Zazas starts to go low, but it's Jankos that dies first. Have they got enough damage here to be finishing off? ROCCAT don't want to fight. They've backed away to 1 for nothing. The spears are going to be doing good amounts of damage at this point of things.
And the pillar here for Freddy blocked away ROCCAT. They couldn't really get into the fight, and at the same time, Jankos, he couldn't get out. So he was the target for SK, and he could go nowhere due to very, very nice pillar by Freddy. So SK Gaming got the dragon, and also got a kill, and actually pulling 2K ahead early.
Calling to push that bottom wave, but let's not forget, again, strange game. That inhibitor is left open at this stage of things, and has been for a good amount of time here as well. I'll look down some of the items now that everyone's finally getting some farm on board. It's a pretty low score in CS-wise, certainly not kill-wise, but CS-wise this game.
Farming champions, not minions.
Indeed, that's the way to go apparently. And spears start coming through, and now Shield's only going to do so much as this Nidalee starts to ramp things up there. Yeah,
the Janna Shield going into late game is not going to do much against a max range spear from Jesus. So it means for ROCCAT side, they actually need to engage, because if they just stand there, we talked about how the sustain was better on SK side, and also the poke is better. So if ROCCAT just stands back and wait and trying to shield away every time the spear lands, they will drop lower and lower. So they're going to need to engage. That's where, of course, they can use the Evelynn, flank around. You get the ultimate from Overpower combined with Evelynn putting on her ultimate to knock them up, or you get this very, very fast Aurelia who can teleport in and actually just run into the face of SK and start the whole fight.
Not seen all that much out of Zazas, but he is still ramping up, to be fair, working his way in towards that Triforce with the Phage already complete, actually finishing off his Berserker Greaves first of all.
So he's delaying his Trinity Force by quite a lot. He's actually not very strong when it comes to fights, but he's going in anyway.
He's going to go in, and there is Jankos popping up, and Freddy realizes he's biting off a little bit more than he can chew. There's the pillar put down perfectly between the two of them. Is he going to be able to get to the wall? He doesn't have flash anyway, it doesn't matter. Trying to get to the rest of his team, but Jankos picks up the kill in the end. Now SK coming back, they're going to be spotted though.
And ROCCAT needs to react to this one. They see Jesus moving up here, they see the rest of the team, and they're now going to push down the mid lane. They can take this turret, just trade 1 for 1.
Trade 1 for 1, or will it be more? I'm not sure about that one. SK are going to take the first one. Are they going to go back? No, they're pushing in here. Nidalee's going back to that mid lane. The minions have actually died in the mid lane there as well, so they've had to tank it up, but they're going to take the turret. 2 men from ROCCAT are defending, 3 men are pushing against just 1 for SK towards that inner turret, and as they see Jesus, they decide to back off.
So they do trade 1 for 1 here, means only the bottom outer turret is left alive from SK side. Everything else is gone. If you talk about outer turrets, opens up the map a lot. Already 16 minutes in, or only 16 minutes in. You can see so many deep wards now, and you have so many spots for both teams actually where they need to ward up because they lack the vision from their own turrets.
Got a nice big wave to play with on that bottom side as well. Actually, going in for Blade of the Ruin King this time around. Let's not forget, in the last game, he rushed that Ravenous Hydra, so changing things up slightly this time in, as Jesus lands a good spear off there on towards Overpower, but he needs to be careful because Jankos is going to be flanking.
I like this play of the Rune King, especially also because you steal movement speed. So the faster Aurelia is, the more movement speed you actually take with your blade. It also means your 1v1 potential is stronger. So if we see Freddy fighting against Xaxus here later in the game, then the play of the Rune King will be very, very big for Xaxus. And it should also mean he can start doing a thing where he can just push down his bottom lane all the time. And if ROCCAT loses the 1v1 or moves 5 members somewhere else, he can move all the way up to the inhibitor and start hitting it.
And there's plenty of movement speed with Aurelia as well. Got those Berserker Greaves done. Actually, he's got the Alacrity enchantment on it.
Very first thing she actually did.
Yeah, and it's got that extra movement speed in there as well. So see how that one all works out for them in the moment. Jankos is still hanging around the back, seeing if he can actually get in there. There's a knock-up from the Howling Gale. Is anyone going to go for it? They're going to go for Jesus, actually. Get the slow, get the knock-up as well. Can they chase him down? Glitterlands, another super mega death rocket, went flying by without connecting. The culling comes in from the side as well. SK, are they going to be able to get back in for an engagement? It doesn't look like it. And Rated actually had Flash Crescendo available, but they only want it when it's perfect.
But very, very good engage by ROCCAT. Flanking around with Evelynn, teleporting him for Aurelia, and then the Wild Growth to knock up Jesus so they could get onto him and kill him instantly. And it means for SK's, for their point, they need to actually pink ward up. Like we saw ROCCAT do in game 1, you need to pink ward around these side pushes here if you want to push up to the mid lane and start sieging.
We brought out the split push cam for the minions because that inhibitor is in fact open, let's not forget. So ROCCAT need to keep an eye on that one and don't let things push up too quickly. Meanwhile, as we approach 20 minutes, a few wards actually starting to go down inside of that Baron pit. But for now, looking fairly quiet on all fronts. So let's have a look down some of the items. Both AD carries, Bloodthirster, Zeal. Actually, we have a pickaxe in there for Candy Panda at this stage. He is slightly ahead in CS. We can see that Seroes actually doing a few jungle creeps here. And needs to watch out because Jesus might try for the steal.
And now Fell Flare, finally for Svenskeren, 25 stacks, and he now picks it up. So he's going to be very, very strong if he actually catches on to targets. So let's see what he can do in the team fights. Of course, he needs to go through all the shields and the ultimate from Vander to knock him away the first time. Then he needs to come back in the fight if he wants to get on to Celabar.
More spears coming through. Of course, Dragon is now spawned in there. SK have controlled the previous two. This time it looks like ROCCAT want to try and get involved and stop themselves falling behind in this game. Svenskeren already on it. It's down to half HP as Jankos comes around from the side. A good zap there. There is the crescendo coming in. The calling's going to come around the side. Svenskeren right in the middle of the pack at this point. Vander is low. Svenskeren actually flashes away. And there is the shutdown coming in onto Celabar. It's now a 5 versus 4. Can they chase in here though? If anyone, it's going to be Jesus. That was a good little dodge back from Vander. They get their 1 kill and they retire back to the Dragon Pit.
And whenever it's SK engaging onto ROCCAT so they can't get around with Evelynn or Aurelia to flank in, trying to get towards Candy Panda Justice, then SK Gaming's in full control because their front line is so strong. Look here at the fight here. There's never a chance for ROCCAT to actually come around SK because they're doing the engage first of all, and then in this little small area here, Seroes is trying to do the damage he can, but the spear from Jess is flying in, killing him, and now the front line with Freddy being so strong, and of course Svenskeren, who now managed to back out very, very low. There's just nothing ROCCAT can do because they don't have the damage from SK, the same damage as SK. So whenever SK is doing the engages, they're in a big advantage. That's why we need to see ROCCAT rotate around the map and then they can start the fight.
Feel a little sorry for Celabar there because Jankos was blocking that spear until he flashed out, flashed out of the way of it, despite having the wild growth on him. So probably a little bit unlucky to actually get taken down by the end of that one. But he has got 4 kills to his name, 4-1-2 right now, taking a slightly different path here to Candy Panda, who's gone Last Whisper before finishing off his attack speed item. Phantom Dancer was picked up by Celabar.
And we need to see now when Celabar actually picks up the Last Whisper how much damage he can do onto Freddy, onto Svenskeren, because they're going to be, or try to be, in his face every single team fight. He is the main damage dealer. And wow, ROCCAT actually tried to engage here again with Jankos from the side, but quickly disengaging, didn't actually want to fight.
Or came through a pink wall there to try and kick that one off. Now SK, are they going to move into the position which, to be honest, they're going to be strongest in here, having the needly spears.
There's no ultimate on Jankos, it's the big engage. They don't have to fear because he used it before when he didn't have to back out instantly. So they feel confident just standing here and start sieging away and poking. Look for the spears to land from Jesus. 1 or 2 and ROCCAT needs to back away.
That's an interesting stat about Freddy as well. Died 5 times so far this game, which is the exact amount. Oh wow, Candy Panda, that's a bit too deep. The exact amount that he died over the course of the previous 2 games in this best of 3. So not been the best start for Freddy, but it's all about who wins at the end. And Seroes, as you mentioned, catching the spear, and that will force them to back away, and they can just do this over and over and over again.
So it wasn't 2 spears, it was actually just 1, and then they had to just move away from the turret. SK Gaming, as long as the ultimate is not up from Evelyn, they feel safe just standing here and firing away the spears.
A lot of damage they do as well. Xaxus catching that last one. There's one onto Overpower as well. The accuracy is strong right now from Jesus. In the end, the Chompers do come down. Minion Wave taking its time to get up here for SK. We can see Jankos again flanking, trying to get into that position to start off the fight, but Seroes does go very, very low. Not quite finished off, but they're going to dive in anyway. That's a great crescendo. It's 3 men. They've got 1 kill. Make that 2 now. Oh, and the spear just flying by. Jankos can't do anything about that. He tried to come in the back, and that's the inhib down. Let's not forget that good old open inhib on the bottom side. Actually,
they don't even care.
They don't even care. They don't care about that one. Maybe now they do, though, as ROCCAT starts to come at them out of the base. They've got to focus down. Jankos, good wild growth comes in. Freddy puts his ultimate down, though, steals all those stats, and Jankos is going to go down. And now they turn back around here with those spears coming flying through. Are they going to play it safe and back away? Yes, they are.
Only 3 members from ROCCAT, and they tried to fight against SK here. Just kite him back a little bit, and then you see Svensson just turn around, pops his ultimate, fires 2 members away, and there's just 1 guy left. Of course, it's Jankos, and he's just going to be the target, taken down fairly easily. And we just saw the perfect play from SK with this comp. I mean, you go up to the turret here, you know Evelyn, there's no ultimate, you start landing spears. Whenever you land a spear, you can take a turret, move on to the next one, land a few more spears, take the turret, and then N-rated lands his ultimate onto, I believe it was 3 members from ROCCAT, and they just pass straight onto them, they're hard CC'd, boom, you're dead. So SK playing the comp really well here, and ROCCAT, due to the failed engage in the mid lane, due to the fight down of the dragon before, really falling behind now.
The little fight's not going their way, and that's allowed Nidalee now a death cap. And going to be building up, I'm guessing, towards that Void Staff straight away afterwards. On the other side, Overpower got his minions to large rod and blasting one, but not quite got that finished off just yet. And surprised they didn't actually move straight for that bottom inhibitor, because that little move back and forth that they did towards the Nexus turrets would have been enough time to finish that inhib off. Jankos going to get caught here by the blue buff. He does put down his randomins, so Svenskeren pops his as well, and then the Culling comes across the side, and there it is. It's Candy Panda, max range on the Culling that gets the kill, and now they'll move towards that inhib.
Now they will pick it up. Before, and actually, they probably thought they could finish the game, but because ROCCAT engaged onto them, because there was no minions, they had to back away. This time around, though, no Evelyn, so the engage is gone, and they can take this inhibitor for free.
Maybe without any rebuttal there from SK Gaming. Of course, those super minions going to start to already push their way up the mid lane, but looks like SK want to do this the safe way, but you just can't get close, and Seroes can't step forward there because of the threat of those spears, and SK simply just going to rotate here onto the top side of the map. Jesus is actually tanking that one up for now. He can, of course, heal himself, and in fact, between him and Enray to heal that completely up. There's the Inen turret gone down, and now it's only this final inhibitor turret on the top side of the map left here for ROCCAT.
But look at Jankos here, he wants to come in from behind. There's a ping with those who didn't know it, and here's the fight.
And they're just going to fight the 4 men at the front. The crescendo gets 2 around the side. Xaxus going low, Super Mega Death Rocket does nothing, and they're just kiting Jankos at the back. Candy Panda survives it, and that's the 1 single kill that they may need to open the floodgates here into the base. The middle lane has already got super minions pushed up. You can see the hammering away on the Nexus turrets. SK are going to take this 3rd and final inhib before turning their attention onto the Nexus turrets. The first one already has gone down. They dive in for a bit more of a fight. Well, the Nexus turrets have already fallen. That is an open Nexus now for them to finish off. They look like they want a few more kills, but they turn their focus to it, finish off the game, and move through into the grand final tomorrow. And it's going to be an El Clasico final here in the spring split.
And it's going to be between number 1 in the standings and number 2 in the standings. SK Gaming versus Fnatic. But if they do the mistakes they did in this early game here, give up so many free kills, I believe they gave up 8 or 9 kills in just the first 10 minutes of the game. They can't do the same against Fnatic tomorrow. But credit to SK then, even though they gave up a lot of kills, they were ahead. They managed to get the dragons, get the turrets all the way into the inhibitor. And then when it came to team fights, again, they were just so much stronger.
I think SK can almost count themselves a little bit lucky there that ROCCAT were also a little sloppy with things, that they allowed them again. And I have to point that out because it happened in game number 1. No, game number 2.